Uh, Animals found frozen in ice, perfectly preserved, like snapshots from the past tens of thousands of years ago.
Yeah, it's really incredible.
And these discoveries are happening as the permafrost thaws in Siberia, giving us these glimpses into this lost world.
Yeah.
And we're not just talking fossilized bones here.
Right, we're talking about frozen
Yeah.
cave lion cubs.
Cubs frozen mid-play, a prehistoric horse with liquid blood, a steppe bison with intact organs, even a woolly mammoth with its brain preserved.
Yeah, it's like opening a time capsule to the Ice Age and
It really is.
getting this incredible look at these animals.
And of course, the question that always pops up is, could these frozen finds hold the key to bringing extinct species back to life? I mean, de-extinction is a hot topic, and these discoveries really fuel the imagination, but it also raises some really profound ethical and ecological questions.
Yeah, it's definitely not a simple yes or no answer,
Yep.
but maybe before we dive into the ethics of it all, let's start with a specific example.
Okay.
Picture this two tiny cave lion cubs. Sparta and Boris discovered just a few years apart.
Okay.
They were found frozen in positions that suggest a sudden, tragic end, perhaps a mudslide that entombed them in ice tens of thousands of years ago.
Oh, wow. So it's heartbreaking, but it also lets us see them almost as they were all those years ago. It's not just a skeleton in a museum. It's like a glimpse into a living creature.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And their locations so close together raise all sorts of questions. Were they siblings? Were they part of a larger pride that perished in the same event? I mean, these discoveries spark as many questions as they answer, which is what makes them so compelling.
Yeah, and these cubs give us a window into the world of cave lions. I mean, we know they were fearsome predators, but how big were they? What did their ecosystem look like?
So think bigger than any lion alive today. Some cave lions could reach over 11 feet long, preying on megafauna, like woolly mammoths, reindeer, and horses.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, so imagine the kind of environment that could support such large predators and their prey vast, open grasslands teeming with life.
That is such a far cry from the Siberian landscape today. It makes you wonder what caused these ecosystems to shift so dramatically.
Well, one theory is that a combination of climate change and hunting pressure led to the decline of these megafaunas, ultimately leading to the extinction of the cave lion.
It's a stark reminder of how interconnected these ecosystems are and how vulnerable they can be to change, whether it's natural or human-induced.
Yeah, for sure. And that brings us to another incredible discovery, the Lena horse foal, dating back 42,000 years.
Okay.
What's remarkable about this foal is that it's so well preserved they even found liquid blood.
Liquid blood. That's incredible. It's the oldest blood sample ever discovered, right?
Yeah.
What can we learn from something like that?
I mean, this blood offers a unique opportunity to study ancient horse physiology. By analyzing its composition, scientists can compare it to modern horses and trace the genetic changes that have occurred over tens of thousands of years.
Oh, wow.
It's like having a time machine for genetics.
That's amazing.
Ah.
And it also raises that tantalizing possibility of cloning the Lena horse, right?
Hmm.
I mean, if we have its DNA.
Well, it's not as simple as it sounds. Ancient DNA degrades over time, even in permafrost. But the technology is advancing rapidly, and scientists are exploring ways to use ancient genetic material to potentially revive extinct species.
So Jurassic Park might not be pure fiction after all.
Right.
It's mind-blowing, but it also makes you wonder about the ethics of bringing back a species that vanished so long ago.
That's the crux of it. It's not just about the scientific possibility, it's about whether we should do it. What are the ecological implications?
Yeah.
Do we have the right to manipulate life in this way?
Yeah, these are questions we'll definitely want to dig into further. But for now, let's move on to another Ice Age giant that's captured the imaginations of scientists and the public alike, the steppe bison.
Okay, sounds good.
So the steppe bison, it's a fascinating creature, not just because of its size and its role in the Ice Age ecosystem, but also because of how well preserved some specimens are.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we were just talking about the Lena horse with its liquid blood, but a steppe bison with intact organs,
Yeah.
that's next level.
Yeah, it really is. In 2011, researchers in Siberia found a steppe bison that's over 9,000 years old, and its organs, including its heart, brain, and blood vessels, were in astonishingly good condition.
Yeah.
It's almost like having a living specimen right there in front of you. What kind of insights can scientists gain from studying organs that are thousands of years old?
Well, it's invaluable for understanding bison evolution and physiology. By comparing the structure of these ancient organs to those of modern bison,
Right.
researchers can trace how these systems have changed over time.
Hmm.
They can study the heart to see how it adapted to the harsh ice age conditions, examine the blood vessels to learn about circulation,
Wow.
and even analyze the brain to get clues about their behavior and cognitive abilities.
So it's like peering back in time and seeing how these animals actually function.
Yeah.
And I understand there was another steppe bison discovery, even more recent, that made headlines because scientists claimed it could be cloned.
Yes, in 2022, a team of Russian scientists performed a necropsy on an 8,000-year-old steppe bison. A necropsy is essentially an autopsy for animals.
Okay.
The level of preservation was so remarkable that they believed it could be a viable candidate for cloning.
Hold on, cloning an extinct bison?
Yeah.
How would that even work?
So the idea is to extract intact chromosomes from the bison's preserved tissues, skin, muscle, perhaps even bone marrow. And then using advanced cloning techniques, they could potentially create an embryo and implant it into a surrogate mother,
Well, right.
possibly a modern bison.
So theoretically, we could see herds of steppe bison roaming the earth again.
Yeah.
It's a captivating idea, bringing these majestic creatures back from extinction.
Yeah.
But I can't help but think about the potential downsides.
Oh, you're right to be cautious. De-extinction, while exciting, is fraught with ethical and ecological complexities.
Yeah.
Should we bring back creatures that we as humans may have played a role in driving extinct? What impact would they have on existing ecosystems?
Right. And would they even be the same species? I mean, their environment has changed drastically. Would they be able to adapt?
These are all valid concerns. The idea of rewilding with extinct species is still very much in its infancy, and there's a lot we don't know about the potential consequences.
It seems like we need a much deeper understanding of the ecological dynamics before we start bringing back mammoths and bison.
Absolutely. And speaking of mammoths, that's another Ice Age icon that's been at the center of the de-extinction debate. The woolly mammoth, with its shaggy coat and massive tusks, has captured the imagination of people for centuries.
And thankfully, we have a wealth of woolly mammoth remains to study, some with incredible levels of preservation. There's one in particular that stands out, Yucca the mammoth, discovered in 2010. What made Yucca so special?
Yucca's claim to fame is that she had the most intact mammoth brain ever found.
Wow.
This was a game changer for scientists, as it allowed them to study mammoth neurology in unprecedented detail.
So we can actually learn about how a mammoth's brain functioned, how it processed information,
Yeah.
maybe even get insights into their intelligence.
Precisely. By comparing Yucca's brain to those of modern elephants, their closest living relatives, researchers can draw parallels and learn a great deal about mammoth behavior, social structures, and cognitive abilities.
It's almost like getting a glimpse into their minds, understanding how they perceive the world around them. It's mind-blowing.
It is. And this brings us to a company that's taking this idea of understanding extinct creatures to a whole new level. Colossal Biosciences is working on a project that sounds straight out of science fiction.
I've heard of them. They're actually trying to bring the woolly mammoth back to life, right?
That's their ambition. They're using CRISPR technology, a revolutionary gene editing tool,
Wow.
to essentially rewrite the DNA of Asian elephants to create something resembling a woolly mammoth.
Wait, so they're not cloning a mammoth, they're engineering one,
Essentially, it's a hybrid approach using the closest living relative as a starting point,
right?
and then making targeted genetic modifications to introduce traits specific to the woolly mammoth, like thick fur and cold tolerance.
So we're talking about a genetically engineered mammoth-elephant hybrid
Yes.
that raises a whole other set of ethical considerations, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Is it truly a mammoth if it's created in a lab?
Right.
What are the potential risks of introducing such a creature into the wild? And what about the welfare of these hybrid animals?
Yeah.
These are complex questions with no easy answers.
It seems like every discovery we discuss leads to more questions than answers.
Yeah,
But that's what makes this field so fascinating, right?
exactly. And as we delve deeper into the frozen world of giants, we uncover more mysteries and grapple with even more profound questions about our role in the natural world.
Well, before we wrap up, there's another Ice Age giant I'd like to touch on, the woolly rhino. They're not as well known as mammoths, but they're equally fascinating creatures. So woolly rhinos, they're like the mammoth's lesser known but equally awesome cousins.
Yeah.
What do we actually know about these creatures?
Well, they were incredibly well adapted to the cold, harsh environments of the Ice Age. Imagine a rhino. but bulkier, with thick fur, massive horns, and a build that just screams, I can handle whatever the Ice Age throws at me.
It sounds like something out of a fantasy novel. I bet they were formidable herbivores.
Oh, absolutely. Their powerful build was perfect for navigating snowy landscapes and pushing through dense vegetation to get to their food. And their horns, well, they were likely for more than just foraging. They probably used them for defense against predators or even for competition within their own species.
It's amazing how much we can infer about an animal's lifestyle just from its anatomy. But sadly, like the mammoths and cave lions, they eventually went extinct. What do we know about why?
It's a puzzle that scientists are still piecing together. Climate change is a likely suspect. As the end of the last ice age led to shifts in vegetation and habitat, it may have made it harder for them to survive. And hunting pressure from early humans could have also played a role, as it did with many other megafauna.
It's a sobering thought that we humans might have had a hand in their disappearance. It really highlights the responsibility we have to protect the species that are still around today.
Couldn't agree more. Studying these extinct giants isn't just about understanding the past, it's about learning lessons for the present and the future.
Speaking of learning from the past, one thing that's really blown my mind in this deep dive is the idea that we can extract DNA from creatures frozen for thousands of years. It's like having a genetic window into a lost world.
It is, and it's not just about satisfying our curiosity about the past. This ancient DNA can offer incredible insights into evolution, helping us understand how species have adapted to changing environments over time.
And of course, it also opens up the door to that ethically complex possibility we've been talking about, de-extinction.
Right. Bringing back extinct species is a topic that sparks both excitement and a lot of healthy debate. There are huge scientific hurdles, of course, but the ethical considerations are just as significant.
Do we have the right to bring back a species that we might have played a role in wiping out? What impact would they have on existing ecosystems? These are questions we can't shy away from.
Exactly. And it's not just about the ecosystem as a whole. We also need to think about the individual animals. What kind of life would a cloned mammoth or steppe bison have? Would it be ethically justifiable to bring them back into a world that's drastically different from the one they evolved in?
It feels like a huge responsibility. We're not just talking about reviving a species, we're talking about shaping the future of an ecosystem.
It is. And there are no easy answers. But that's what makes this such a compelling and thought-provoking topic. As we continue to make these remarkable discoveries in the permafrost, we're forced to confront these questions head-on.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the frozen world, what are some key takeaways you hope our listeners will ponder?
Well, first and foremost, I hope they come away with a sense of awe at the incredible power of nature to preserve these creatures for so long, and at the ingenuity of scientists who are unlocking the secrets held within their DNA.
It's like a detective story on a grand scale.
Exactly, and I also hope it sparks a deeper appreciation for the interconnectedness of life, both past and present. These extinct giants weren't just isolated creatures, they were part of complex ecosystems that ultimately shape the world we live in today.
And their extinction serves as a stark reminder of the fragility of those ecosystems and of the responsibility we have to protect the biodiversity we still have.
Precisely. While the prospect of bringing back mammoths or cave lions might capture the imagination, perhaps the most important lesson we can learn from these frozen giants is the importance of safeguarding the species that are alive today.
It's a powerful message, and one that resonates deeply. Thank you for guiding us through this incredible journey into the frozen world.
It's been my pleasure. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep marveling at the wonders of the natural world, both past and present.